just thought I'd film this because I've just sort of finished watering all my orchids, which I do at the same time. But some people might want to know how I actually water. Now, with orchids, they all have a different requirement for the amount of light and water. If they're a high light requirement, then it's easy to keep them in a window, and this is a south facing window. You see I have netting, and what I do is I put them in substrates so that I can water them every day, because if I water them every day, that keeps the humidity up every day around the plants. If you have zygopetalums, which are fantastic flowers, do not mist them. You can give them a light misting once, twice a week, but don't mist them every day like other orchids, because the leaves will just drop off and rot away. So if you've got this fantastically looking flower, zygopetalum orchid from South America, ignore anything it may say on the label, because I guarantee on my one it was wrong, and I nearly lost them. And then I brought them back, and then they flowered every year 3 or 4 times. Just don't spray them. They do like to be damp, a bit like phalaenopsis. So what I do is I more or less water them every day, but most days I just give them a light water. I'll spray over the roots that are well away from the pot quite heavily, but anything that goes in the pot will be a bit on the light side. It's very rarely I take a plant pot out and there'd be water in the bottom. It does happen, but it's very rare. And then what I do is once a week, midweek, I'll give them a slightly heavy water, and then at the weekend once a week I'll generally give them a heavy water with a little bit of food. And that's basically what I do. And then sometimes I just mist them over the top as well with a very, very fine mist, and just give them an extra damp air day, as I refer to it. And that's what I do. Because of some of you may not know, I do have a lot of issues and battles going on, and I do have a pretty horrible disability, and it affects both the mind and the body, and they go at completely different speeds, and I have short-term memory issues, so it's a real pain. So with the orchids, because I do it every day, if they go a day or two, it doesn't matter, you know, that's fine, you know. But you know, most days they're in the right sort of conditions that they enjoy all the time, and that way if I do forget them, you know, once or twice, or I've got something going on, it won't be detrimental to the orchids. So that's what I do. When I do water them lightly, what I tend to do is I sort of hold the spray, and if it's coming out medium, I might count the sort of 5 seconds for smaller pots like those odontoglossums or the brassia, a bit longer for bigger pots, the Dendrobium kingianum, the bigger nobiles, and the zygopetalums. You know, so it's just so that if the top's wet and it drips down a little bit, it will drip down enough to water them without it collecting in the bottom of the pots. And I've just, you know, finely tuned a way of doing it that's sort of just right. So that's basically what I do. You don't use tap water. I wouldn't use tap water on any orchids at all. I used to use RO water, but I've been using rainwater for the past 2 years, which I collect on very inexpensive devices that attach. I've got one here out on the outside of this building, and one over there by my shed, and there's a little device that collects water and shoots it out. I put a pipe in it and put it in a jerry can, and if they start overflowing, I put a stopper in it and it just closes it off. And I've always got rainwater. So there you go. That's how I water my orchids.